The thing that I think gave digital a bad name in the early years was the glitch at the MSB, right near audio zero, where, where in a 2's complement converter, all the bits change state pretty much. I think we had quite a bit of equipment which had small nicks in the transfer characteristic there, making crossover distortion. So that was imputed to digital audio, even though it's an implementational fault. And so we have this tremendous backlash, I think, against digital audio, in the same way that we had a backlash against the first transistor amplifiers when they showed crossover distortion, the Class B amplifier. Oh, yeah. And we had to learn how to bias them effectively and so on. Dither could take a digital audio system and make it linear to way below the least significant bit, and that was in the title of one of our papers. Basically, with Dither, a digital system loses all its digital character. It really becomes an analog system, and it has much lower noise than an analog system, and of course it's perfectly restorable, and it has much less distortion, at least in principle. I wouldn't say that all original digital equipment did. I personally believe that that the CD standard, and I guess Philips initially wanted to go for 14 bits, I think. And then Sony convinced them, I think, to go to 16 or something like that. And then 16 seems a nice number. It's 2 bytes. So it seemed, from the computer's point of view, it was a good idea too. I personally believe that standard that we had, the first standard, 44.1 at 16, is something that the consumer, that gives almost transparency to the consumer. I know that some of my colleagues today would want wider bit widths and somewhat higher sampling rates, and since they're available on some of the discs, I wouldn't oppose that. But I don't believe in going to extremely high sampling rates. I don't believe in going to bit widths that are too wide. 24 bits would be wonderful for the recording studio, because you'd have some headroom, some tail room. You could do the processing without too much regard for errors. You still have to be careful of filters and things. And maybe going to a slightly higher sampling rate helps, because then the filters just become easier to design.